This lush green rice paddy has provided a livelihood for generations of farmers. But recently, they've watched helplessly as floods transform their farmlands into new fishing grounds. Those who cannot cope are forced to leave. Muhammad ALIKO is trying to salvage what he can of his millet and sorghum, at least for the next meal. The rest, he says, is lost.
No one in my village is spared by this unfolding disaster. This is the second consecutive year we are experiencing this. I've already lost 10 farms with rice, beans, groundnuts, and sorghum.
His loss is echoed in villages lining Nigeria's coast and river valleys this year, areas that account for 80% of the country's agricultural production.
Nigerians have been warned to expect more flooding nationwide, raising fears of possible food shortages as crops are washed away. The country was recently listed among 41 countries that require food aid, partly because of severe weather conditions. And because government has banned food importation through its land borders, many families may struggle to feed themselves.
The governor of the state says the state government is struggling to help over 100,000 people.
Over 70,000 hectares of farmland gone. This year, also similar figures. But what is interesting this year for us is the new places that have not been traditionally under flooding. What we could only do now is to support those people that have lost their towns, to put them in shelters and try to see how we can feed them. But the after effect, the farmland that is lost, the crops that were lost, and the houses that were lost, we don't have that strength to help people.
For many years, the annual rainfall in this region is 800 millimeters. But people have seen the level exceeding 1,000 millimeters in the past few years.
In the northern part, we have so much of this flood during the rainy season and farmers cannot cultivate. In the dry season, we are getting so much of dryness. And from the southern part, we also have so much of flood.
The floods and drought are partly to blame for fighting between farmers and cattle herders. Hundreds have been killed in the region in the battle for land and water. But for fishermen, these are good times. With village streets and roads becoming new fishing grounds, even temporarily, there is a catch to be made. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Auyo, Nigeria.